Hello and welcome to Through the Ashes, the second DLC for Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. This is very different than the first DLC. Inevitable Excess had you playing as the same character as an extension of the same story, you had the same companions, pretty much it was just a little bit more of the main campaign. This is a completely separate campaign. This is low-level characters, you go through character creation again, and you experience a different bit of the same tale. So this is playing right at the start of the game, the demons attack Canabris, and you have to escape Canabris with your small group of low-level characters. Which sounds cool, you get to play a little bit of a common folk kind of angle from it. Maybe you get to see some things that they wouldn't show to the commander of all the forces, you know, you get a little bit more of a ground level approach. So, let's read the description and jump right in. While the future Knight Commander is fighting their historic battle for the Ward Stone and the whole world, the regular people on the burning streets of Canabris are doing their best to survive. In this additional campaign for low-level characters, you will see the war through the eyes of common city dwellers, proving that you don't need to be a mythic champion to be a hero. Lead a small group of townsfolk out of captivity to safe refuge. Who will you save? Who will you sacrifice, and what grim secrets of the Worldwound have the main campaign's heroes missed? Sounds good, let's jump in. We're going to be playing on core, it's what we played the rest of the game on. The only thing to note about core is that at low levels, it can be quite vicious for your character. Like if you happen to have low health, a crit could probably knock you out. It's not something that's impossible to deal with, it's just something to remember. But I think we'll be alright. And now we have to create the character. Now, immediately the game has given us the base for the campaign. It said you're playing as a citizen of Canabris and you are not the main character. The main character is off doing all of their sort of stuff. They're fighting the demons, they're, you know, getting mythic powers, they're charging through all of the story, right? That's the main character. You are playing as a random person on the street. You're playing as either a citizen who lives there, like a merchant, you're playing as a whatever, right? Whatever the backstory you come up with, you're just an ordinary person. So, how are we going to make that fit? Well, we're going to create a custom character and we're going to have a look at some of the classes and basically see what fits for us. Now I'm going to play as just an ordinary dude. I'm going to pick one from Kingmaker because they tend not to be reused as much. This guy could work, he looks kind of ordinary. It looks okay. We could also play as, like, this one. Yeah. I kind of like this guy. He's fitting what I'm thinking. He's just somebody who's fighting in Canabris, or maybe he's just traveled there with some gear. But, you know, he's not the main character. Now, what kind of classes are we looking at? Well, if we're just going to play like a regular folk, a lot of the weirder classes are kind of out there. Like, I would say something like Barbarian doesn't really fit your I'm just living in the city life kind of thing. That doesn't really work. Bard, maybe? You could play somebody as a bard and have them be, you know, just a bard. Like the actual profession, it fits. Cleric as well kind of fits. See, Druid again, I don't think it fits us living in the city. Fighter kind of fits. What are the ones we got here? Hunter, maybe, I suppose. Ranger, maybe. There's some stuff in there. But, like, some of them, like Kineticist, that doesn't really feel like us. That doesn't feel like, you know, you're just a regular person. Like Rogue, if we wanted to play it a little bit more on the criminal side of things. So what am I thinking? I quite like the idea of Fighter. Fighter's quite good in a lot of situations. You can play backline as ranged. You can play kind of as a heavy damage dealer with a two-handed weapon. You can play at the front with a sword and a shield if that's what's required of you. Cleric can also fill some of those roles. You can be at the front with a sword and a shield, or a mace and a shield probably, or something similar to that. Or you can play at the back and just heal. So that's also got some kind of the same stuff going on there. I don't know if I want to play a rogue. I don't think that that's what I want. Bard is intriguing though. I kind of like the idea of Bard. We never used one in the main campaign, so yeah, maybe we'll go with Bard. I'm going to change my portrait for Bard, though. We got to look a little bit more, you know. How about this guy? I don't know. He looks a little lost. That could work, though. I like him looking a little bit lost. So this is our Bard. Okay. Right, we're going to go Bard. Are we going to go anything in particular here? I think base Bard is okay. We can see the class details, can't we? Okay, so a base level for Bard, you get 6. Max level spells 6. We're not going to worry about that. Your 8 hit points, you get 5 per level. The caster ability is Charisma, which is quite good because it means that we're good at talking to people, which is always something that's nice to have in your party. Okay, we get Inspire Courage at level 1. Okay, all of that's fine. What's a Dirge Bard? Laments for the Dead. I mean, that kind of fits the area. What do you lose for him? As in, it fits somebody who's at the edge of the Worldwound. So you lose Well Versed. So, become resistant to the bardic performance of others and sonic effects in general. The bard gains a +4 bonus on saving throws made against bardic performance, sonic, and language-dependent effects. Okay, interesting. And what do we get instead? We get a talent? Or do we get a different set of talents? So we'd get the talent either way. Ah, no, you get these two. So at second level, we gain a +4 on saves against fear, curses, death effects, and necromantic effects. And gain a bonus equal to half of our bard level on lore religion checks. May use mind-affecting spells to affect undead as if they were living creatures. That's kind of neat. I think there were some undead in Canabras when we walked around, so that might come into effect. Okay. In addition, he gains the following spells. We get Cause Fear and Command Undead. Okay, I like that. Flame Dancer? What do you get instead of things? You would lose Inspire Competence, and you would gain Fire Dance. So it would give us Fire Resist. That's kind of useful. I assume Thundercaller is the same thing, but lightning. Oh no, it does sonic damage. Okay. And use their upbeat music to fire up their allies, but Tranquil Whisperers do the opposite. Alright, some bards use their upbeat music to fire up their allies, but Tranquil Whisperers do the opposite. They play soothing compositions to alleviate any emotional pressure. So instead of Inspire Courage, which gives you a +1 morale bonus on saving throws against charm and fear effects, and a +1 competence bonus on attack and weapon damage rolls, you instead get a +1 morale bonus to AC, and it surpasses the effects of all kinds of rage. Okay. I quite like Dirge Bard. I think that kind of fits what we're going for here. So you get Bardic Knowledge, so you add half of your class level to all knowledge and lore skill checks, and may make knowledge and lore skill checks untrained. We get Bard Proficiencies, which are just kind of simple, it's light armor, simple weapon, shields, and then you get some cantrips, which aren't exciting, but you know, they're okay. It's nice to have at low level. And then we get a small buff to attack and weapon damage rolls, which is actually quite meaningful. Yeah, I quite like this. I like what we got going on here. And our class skills appear to be pretty much everything. Now, what are we going to play in terms of race? Now again, in terms of race, I want to limit it down to races which are likely to be around. Like common. Like, we're not going to play a vampire. That's not a common citizen. We're not going to play a fox person. Again, not a common citizen. No red. No. Aasimar. There are some around, but not a ton. Tieflings? If we were going for something kind of criminal element, we do know there's some of that going on. But yeah, again, like half orc, we're not going with that. So we're kind of looking at the top lot. I don't think we're a gnome. I think that we're probably going to try and play somebody who looks like this, so I'm going to limit it down to maybe half-elf or human. Let's see what we got. So we can get a +2 to an ability score, or... Oh, we get +2 to ability score anyway. So the character gets a +2 to ability score of their choice. Oh, because they get the same thing. Okay, so they get Keen Senses, which gives you a +2 racial bonus on perception checks. Elven immunities. And racial heritage. Okay, that's fine. Or human, we can get an extra feat, and we gain additional skill rank at first level and 1 additional rank whenever they gain a level. I think I'm going to play a human bard. I know it's kind of, you know, a little bit standard to not play... Like, it feels like if you have all these options, why would you be a human? But it kind of fits the character, I think. You know, just most of the people that we met in... Canabras tended to be human. Either that or they were extremely noteworthy. So, what's our background? What are we thinking? Well, if we're a bard, maybe a wanderer could fit. Although these don't really sound like the kind of wanderers I was thinking. Anything else in here? We're not really a scholar. You can have no background, it gives you no bonuses. That doesn't sound good. That sounds like just a bad idea. Anything in here that seems interesting? I don't think so, no. Well. I'm just continuing to look at these, see if I can find anything that fits. Maybe a courtier? That kind of fits. Persuasion and trickery? Yeah. So we'll be kind of like a noble bard. Yeah. Gives us weapon proficiency with the rapier, which we may or may not use. It gives us buckler proficiency, which I don't think matters. I think we get that as part of shield proficiency. Yeah, we get that as part of shield anyway, so it doesn't really matter. That's okay. The corresponding bonuses from background change to a +1 competency bonus, or a +1 enhancement bonus in the case of weapon, and a -1 armor check penalty and reduction in case of armor proficiency. Hey, so we're going to get a bonus anyway because we have that. That's cool. Just out of curiosity, do simple weapons... Well, it doesn't tell you what a simple weapon is. I think rapier is not a simple weapon, so that might be something that we won't look to use. Anyway. Right. Now we have to choose where our stats are going. Now, a racial bonus we can put in many things. It does make sense to put it in charisma, as that's our spellcasting stat here. Yeah, so we get another number of bonus spells equal to our charisma score. I also think it's used for DC and things. I kind of want this off until I put my stats in, but I think that we want to go up to a 16 here. At least. In terms of a weapon, if we get weapon finesse, we could potentially use dex. Either that or we want to use strength. Are we going to be a melee user or are we going to be a ranged user? I don't know. I'm going to put some points into con. I think 14 in con is sensible to keep us alive. We don't really need intelligence. We don't need the skill points per level because we get an extra one for being human anyway. And we're not going that many levels in, so I wouldn't think that we'd need a ton to stack up over time. We also don't really need that much wisdom, although wisdom does lead into lore religion skill checks, which I think we get something for from Dirge Bard. So that might be worth putting a couple of points in, but I'm not overly worried about that. I think really we're looking at strength and dex as our next two. Given we got trickery, it makes sense to be a dex character. Yeah, so let's go up to 14. So that gives us 14 dex, 14 con, and 16 charisma. Now what we could do is we could say, hey, I'm going to ditch my strength and put some points into wisdom. As a person, that's a perfectly reasonable option. It would reduce our damage output though. I think just kind of being a jack of all trades seems okay. We're quite charismatic, we're a little bit tough, and we're good at dodging things. That kind of fits as like a character thing. Like just as our base character. Right. We are actually proficient with everything. That's all of them are class skills. What are we going to go for? A skill cannot be used if your character has not been trained in it. Now we know that that's not true for us. We can actually take these checks without being trained based on the bard thing from earlier, can't we? Yes, may make all knowledge and lore skill checks untrained. Not very useful late game. Early game, very useful. So we can effectively say that all of these we don't need to put a point into because we can already try the check. We might want to put a point into it if we want to pass the check, but you know, we can already try with all of them. I'm thinking we want to put a point into trickery because it seems like that's something we're going to be doing. We want to put a point into persuasion because again, that seems like something we're going to be doing. Maybe perception is a good one. I do like being able to notice things. So we'll go perception. Then maybe... I'm tempted to do mobility or stealth. We could do both, but I also kind of want to put one into a knowledge. Like maybe Knowledge World. Let's maybe do Knowledge World and Mobility. I think it's better than... I think it's more useful than Stealth. Yeah. That's what we're going to be. We're going to be Persuasion, Perception, Knowledge World, Trickery, and Mobility. That works perfectly fine for me, I think. Our first feat was Lingering Performance. The bonuses and penalties from your bardic performance continue for 2 rounds after you cease performing. Okay, kind of useful. Weapon Finesse does seem like it's sensible though, because we have a higher dex than strength, therefore we would want to be able to use this on attack rolls. Yeah, so it's Light Weapon, Elven Curve Blade, S-Stock, or Rapier for a creature of your size category. So if we can get a Rapier, that would be absolutely amazing for us. But, you know, if we can just find a light weapon, we're probably off to a good start. So let's go with that. That seems like a very easy first choice. Now, we're not ranged, so we're not going to use that. Lingering Performance is okay, but I don't think we need it. What are we looking for? Extra performances. We can use Bardic Performance for an additional 6 rounds per day. Oh, how many rounds can I use my Bardic Performance for? Does it say? I'm just trying to see, like... Doesn't seem to tell me the limit on it right here. Maybe I'm missing something. Yeah, I can't see how long that lasts for. Yeah, I was kind of hoping one of these, when I hovered over it, would tell me. Okay, so it doesn't tell me how long that lasts for, but if it's saying you get an additional 6 rounds per day, there is actually a logic to doing Lingering Performance instead. Like, you turn it on for 1 round, and you've effectively got it for 3 rounds, so you're effectively tripling the number of Bardic Performances that you have, because you can go turn it on, turn it off, and then you still get the buffs. That's kind of useful. Anything else in here? Additional skill point per level? Not interesting to us. We're not playing a long enough campaign where that's going to make sense. Shields and anything that's like you use a specific type of shield or you use a specific type of weapon. It's pointless. I don't know what weapons we have. I don't know if I'm going to get a light weapon or a weapon that can be used with weapon finesse, so I don't know whether we want Piranha Strike. That's kind of where we're at right now. Let's take Lingering Performance. I think that we know that we can stretch out Bardic Performances with it, so it could be good. Right. And now we're looking for first level spells. Now, we get a couple for free from here. So we get Cause Fear and Command Undead and then Fear. So we don't need any of those spells. And we also know that our mind affecting spells can affect undead. So if we get mind affecting spells, that'd be useful. But there's no point in taking this because we're going to get it for free. Cure Light Wounds is interesting. It could be useful early game to get a little bit of extra healing into our build. I'd prefer just to not take damage, but you know, something to think about. Sleep. Now, usually I'd say something like Sleep is bad because it's based upon the hit dice of the creatures. So it doesn't scale into the late game. But again, because we're playing a low level campaign, Sleep is actually really good for us because it affects the first 4 hit dice of creatures. Or, sorry, it affects 4 hit dice of creatures. So effectively, if the creature is below level 4, it will affect it. So that's quite useful to have. Or alternatively, it could affect 4 creatures of level 1. But yeah, I think that's going to be very useful for us. Second one, what we're looking at here, Hideous Laughter. Subject can take no actions while laughing, but it's not considered helpless. After the spell ends, it can act normally. Creature's next turn it may attempt a new will saving throw to end the effect. A creature with intelligence score of 2 or lower is not affected. That's kind of interesting. Hideous Laughter seems like another good mind affecting one. Get a couple of mind affecting spells to take out different groups of people. Another one is Grease. Very useful. Because it's an area of effect one that takes... You can basically block areas of a fight. And they have to make reflex saving throws, which are... You know, you're more likely to fail at a lower level. Expeditious Retreat is also kind of interesting. I think I like Hideous Laughter. It's also kind of a traditional bard one, I think, so that works. Deity Selection. So in here, I'm going to follow my same rules in that we don't want to choose anything that's just, like, completely out there. Like, something that someone would be like, really? You're worshipping them? Like Zon Kuthon? That doesn't really seem like us. Now, if I had to pick one, I would be thinking something like Callistria, which is kind of interesting. It could be one. I would think that, what's the other one I had? Desna, maybe? The Great Dreamer, Lady Luck. It could be good. The Goddess of Dreams, Luck, Stars, and Travelers. You know what? Actually fits pretty well with what I'm going for. Favorite weapon is a Star Knife. We're not going to find a Star Knife. And so, it doesn't really matter. Which one's the... both of you have the favorite weapon of the Rapier. It could be interesting. What's Kaden Kalin? So... God of Alcohol, Bravery, and Freedom. That's also kind of nice. Those mortals who achieved godhood by passing the test of the Starstone, because legend tells that he passed the test while intoxicated, he is also known as the Lucky Drunk, the Drunken Hero, or the Accidental God. I kind of like that. Let's choose that god instead. He also has the same weapon that we have, which I quite like. Alignment. Okay, so we can only be neutral good, chaotic good, or chaotic neutral. What do we think? I kind of want to play a character that's in the realm of good. That generally seems like it would fit a citizen of Canabris. What if we play chaotic good? We're all about freedom. You know, we're the lucky drunk. We're kind of somebody who's just gonna fall into thing after thing and survive. Like, we're gonna randomly be in a bar fight, or you were gonna randomly fall into whatever. Like, whatever situation, we're just gonna roll with the punches. That seems good. Now, appearance. I would really like it if I can see... Yeah, there we go. See this one here. I'm thinking skinny. Let's go... That's kind of right. I'm not going to worry too much about it. Like, you're very, very rarely going to see your character's face. That's okay. Like, scars, definitely not going to see. Can't really see the eyes. I think they're brown, though. Something like that. Hairstyle's the one that you're more likely to see. Looking for something that's... Okay, so we don't have spiky hair in quite the same way. So maybe that? That's kind of close. Yeah. No beard. And then the hair is going to be... That's not too bad. That's close enough. No war paint, no tattoos, clothes colors. I do like the idea of them being quite bright. I mean, we are going to be a bard. We got like a brighter. It kind of works. Just trying to make it something that stands out. Then I might put the... Wait, what's... Oh, that's for the top bit there. Oh, okay. Right, blue. There we go. That's our bard look here. Right, next.
Mere flesh wound.
That's a little bit... much.
Burn! Slice! Behead!
That's, again, way too much.
Defeat is not an option.
I won't give up!
I feel faint.
My wounds pile on.
Calm down. Not dead yet.
Not that I care.
First come, first served.
That's kind of good.
I can find better.
Although I just realized that I know what that voice is, and I'm like, that'll take me out of
Does
it in a bit.
anyone require my counsel?
Their life ends here. This will hurt.
All I see is blackness.
Let's shake a leg.
Maybe I go for Madman. It is a bit much, but it's okay. We'll go with that one. Right, name. We are gonna be called... I don't know, you got a base name for me to work off of? Yeah, these weren't really, like, the realm I was going for. We're gonna be, Luther the Bard. The reason I went for Luther, I'm gonna let you know, is I was trying to think, like, I want to make a name that fits like a bard. And I was going through. I was like, okay, what do bards have? Bards have lutes, and then that was it. Luther. So we're Luther the Bard. Did it take a lot of thought behind it? No. I don't know. We're gonna be 5'9". There we go.
So many thoughts, so little time.
This is our bard. It's a chaotic, good human bard. Is on a quest to find a rapier so that we can use weapon finesse, and generally that's it. That's our plan. He can make people fall asleep. Oh, he also gets lullaby as a base one. We have a lot of things to put people to sleep. Not really a good trait for a bard, is it? The ability to put people to sleep. You'd really prefer if they, you know, if you're playing in a tavern that everyone's, you know, awake and excited and into it, not dozing off because of how boring you are. But hey, there we go. Let's jump in. Through the Ashes. When many years had passed, chroniclers would speak of the attack on Canabras as a turning point that marked the start of the Fifth Crusade. But in those days of fire, most people had no time to think of history. They were concerned with more pressing matters. Where can we find shelter? How do we bandage these wounds? How do we survive one more day? Not a great start for us. But we are alive. So we have a sprained ankle. Okay, can be removed by a cure spell, but it goes away in 25 seconds. Okay, what weapons have we got? Ah. Well, that's not great. Let's just work out our bar here. So these are our real spells. Let's inspire courage. So we get 7 of them. So effectively we get 21 rounds of this if we use it each round. If we use it a round, let it work for the next 2 rounds and then turn it back on again. Dismiss spell, we probably don't need that often. Flare. I suppose we should have it here. Same with daze. Lullaby, I think I might put into like that category of them. I'll just move these along a little bit. And then what have we got? We got light as well. Resistance. Probably not going to stay there for a long time, but it's just so I know where my spells are. Okay. Well, we got some loot at the end. Let's see how we can survive this. Knowledge World. You notice stage scenery and props amidst the mounds of rubbish, pieces of the walls of Nerosian here, a fragment of an angel's helmet there, and a broken stave that very recently played the part of Radiance, the legendary sword. Oh, cool, so we're actually in a theatre. That makes a lot of sense for our character as well. Okay, that's cool. The corpse reeks of carrion and cheap booze. It looks like the cultist tripped and broke his neck. You got any equipment on you? No, you have 1 health potion. Well, we'll need it. Old smoking pipe and a sham short sword. The short sword deals 1d4 damage instead of 1d6. It gives a -2 penalty on attack rolls made with it, but it is finesse wielding, which is all we need. There we go. I'm ready. To the basement. Loot. Ah, it's a spear if we happen to want one of those. Okay, good to know. Hello.
I see blood. Blood!
Well, I was gonna chat to this person, but I guess we're gonna fight the rabid dog. Oh, I just realized something here. Oh, wait, no. Turn-based? There we go. It just hadn't worked. I was like, make sure we're in turn-based mode. There we go. We got anything we could do here? Any creature that within the area feels a will save becomes drowsy and inattentive. That's not really what I'm looking for. I could use a spell. I don't want to use a spell. I think we stab it.
Burn! Slice! Behead! Yes.
Missing is really bad. Missing is
I wonder what lies beyond.
horrible. As I said, low-level Pathfinder is very unforgiving. Alright, well, let's heal. Grab these, quick save. Let's move forward. We died to the dog. Didn't see that one coming. Hello.
I see blood.
Never mind.
Blood!
Blood. Blood. Well. Turn on our bardic performance, and we can't stab on this turn. Alright. Let this guy take a hit. Nice. Stab him. We did 2 damage. Oh. Again, he missed. Stab him. 4 damage. I didn't turn off my bardic performance. I should totally do that. Yeah, okay. Stab.
What have you done? Why did you kill him? Our poor Leafy. How could you?
The half-elf, dressed in tatty, flashy clothes, his face smeared with what remains of his stage makeup, brings his hands to his mouth in horror, revealing his long, delicate fingers and manicured nails. I saved your life and you're complaining?
Look, thank you for helping me out, but surely you could have found a non-violent solution.
The dog would have mauled you to death.
What? No, not at all. Leafy and I are friends. He got scared, that's all. Scared and hungry after... Oh, Shellen, this is a nightmare. What did I do to deserve this? What sin did I commit? It's all the demons. I've never seen dogs behave like this. It's worse than rabies. Worse than plague. Those monsters have brought madness to our city. People have lost their minds and have started killing each other. And now the dogs have gone berserk.
Okay, well, who are you?
Langrat Massini, at your service. Oh? I am the first violin in this very theater. Or at least, that's who I was before disaster struck. Now I'm just like you. Just another victim, hiding from savage monsters among the ruins, hoping to see the sunrise just one more time.
What are dogs doing in a theater?
They're strays, the poor things. We feed them every once in a while. They look so miserable. I guess they were quick to forget about our friendship. Or maybe it was the insidious Baphomet who made them attack their patrons.
Yeah, you must be familiar with this place. How do we get out of here?
Out of where? The orchestra pit or the theater? The only way out of the theater's through the seats, and that's where those killers are. And the orchestra pit... There was a door over there, but it was blocked by some rubble. Long ago, way before the attack. Another option is the stage, but we'd be out in the open, and that's just what they want. So, there you have it. No way out. All we can do is pray.
Well, I'll be going. Don't be mad, but is my dog pelt now. Right. Any loot in here? Do we have a crossbow if you want a crossbow? Okay, and then cure light wounds. It's all fine. Right, nothing else to worry about. We'll quick save. We made it through fight number 1. Who was that sneaking around? The cultist pulls out a knife and looks around suspiciously. When she gets a good look at you, she grins, showing her rotten teeth. Ah, our fresh meat is out for a walk, is it? Come over here. I'll get you good in the name of Baphomet. Alright, let's bluff. I'm one of you, you moron. If you were, you'd be sitting in the auditorium with the rest of our lot. Maybe you aren't lying, but if you're such a weakling that you'd let yourself get captured by your own, then all you're good for is sacrifice. The cultist walks towards you, raising her dagger, but then, out of nowhere, a silhouette appears behind her. The next moment, she lets out a gurgling wheeze as the man pulls a string around her neck and starts strangling her. The cultist whips around and pushes her attacker away, but he still manages to take her dagger. Don't just stand there, kill her.
Let's shred them!
Okay, let's go. She's dead. Well, you must be a rogue. Let's go up, we need to talk. Up, we're going.
This way!
Good work. One less goon for them, one more knife for us.
This middle-aged tiefling has clearly seen some hardships in his life. In a subtle movement of nimble fingers, he hides the string he used to strangle the cultist up his sleeve, then sizes you up, his eyes narrowed.
You're not half bad yourself. The name's Rekard. We should stick together, and maybe we'll make it out of this slaughterhouse.
Well, let's clasp his hand. Let's do it, let's show those creeps.
You've got some spirit. If there are even half a dozen others like you still alive in this city, Canabras might make it out of this mess after all. Alright, that's enough small talk. We better figure out how we're getting out of here. I have to make it to the Defender's Heart, no matter what it... Wait!
Ricard freezes, listening. The string, already taut, reappears instantly in his hands. Oh, it's this dude.
Wait! Don't! I'm a friend, not a cultist! See? I saw you. Do what you did. It was horrible. So much blood. But I guess you had no other choice, right? Those cultists are animals. How are there so many of them all of a sudden? Where did they come from?
What do you think? They've been living here this whole time, walking the same streets as us, breaking bread with us. Maybe they've even dropped by this theater of yours a time or two, to listen to some music and dream about what they were going to do once they seized power. Anyway, what do you want from us?
You two want to get out of here? I have an idea of how you could pull it off. I've worked in this theater for a long time, so I know every nook and cranny in the place. I could point you toward a way out, but you have to promise me that you'll take me with you. No, you'll have to swear it. I don't want to die in here.
What kind of way out?
Basically, there's a... Hold on a minute. First, give me your word that you won't leave me here to die. I'm not telling you anything until you promise me.
You won't get any promises from me. We don't make commitments.
Then you won't get anything from me either. I guess this is how we'll all die. Right here. You might change your minds, I suppose. We're not cultists. We're good townsfolk. We should be helping each other instead of whatever this is.
Well, tell me the way out then.
If you don't want to talk, then don't get in the way. We'll make do without your help. So listen, here's what I wanted to tell you before this fool crept up on us. No matter what it takes, I have to make it to the Defender's Heart. It's a tavern, you know it?
Of course, I know all the taverns.
Great, because believe it or not, that watering hole is now the most important place in what's left of the city. It's been made into the headquarters for the remnants of the resistance against the demons. You might not think it to look at me, but I work for the Paladins, from the Order of the Eagle Watch. The resistance was put together by their leaders, Anevia, and Irabeth Tirabade. And I have information for them. Something big. Something they need to know right now. I'm serious. The lives of everyone in this city depend on me delivering this report.
So you're a knight?
No, I am definitely not a knight. More like the opposite. But there are times when knights need the help of folks like me. You get the picture? I'm just a scout. And well, sometimes I do other things for them. Off the books.
There are still some people putting up a fight against the demons?
Hard to believe, huh? Well, the city isn't gonna curl up and die just like that. Everyone with the strength to fight is gathering at the Defender's heart. And everyone without it too, I suppose. Sitting behind Paladin shields is safer, sure enough.
What report are you supposed to deliver?
The demons are preparing to launch an attack on the tavern. They're hoping to crush what's left of the city's defenders in one fell swoop. I was listening in on their plans when they caught me, tied me up, and threw me in here. I gotta warn the Paladins so that those fiends don't cut them all down. Instead, I'm lounging around at this luxury resort.
What do you want from me?
I hope I make it to the heart alive. I really hope I make it. But if I do end up kicking the bucket along the way, I want you to deliver my report instead. Find Commander Irabeth Tirabade or her wife Anevia at the tavern. Tell them the demons at the Tower of Estrad are preparing a large-scale assault. They have to know. They have to be ready. Do you understand?
I understand. I see.
Then let's find a way out of this dump for starters. It might be worth talking to some of the other prisoners. They look like a bunch of half-dead wimps, but who knows? They could be of some use.
Oh, so maybe the other prisoners are like potential companions? Like, maybe they're not named, but they're going to be companions for us? Okay, cool. So we got this dude.
My legs carry me.
Let's just quickly change our formation. There we go. There's our new formation. It's not an exciting one. Ooh.
I managed.
Before the Worldwound, there was no theatre in Canabras. It was built during the First Crusade to raise the spirits of fighters going off to fight the demons. Cool. So who is this guy? What's up with him? This tiefling with the tiefling with the nimble fingers of a thief and the wary gaze of a knight has always been an outsider wherever he goes. The people of Canabras openly despised his kind as a spawn of the Abyss, while the city's cultists were only too happy to accept him into their ranks, not knowing how much Rikarth hated them. He waged his war in the shadows, in the city's underbelly, away from the eyes of law-abiding citizens. But when the demon attack turned this world upside down, Rikarth and the other outlaws like him became the burning city's last line of defense. Okay, so he is a chaotic neutral tiefling. Okay, kind of fits with us. He's got knowledge world, trickery. He's got the exact same build. He's right? Almost. We've got persuasion, but apart from that, we're doing a lot of the same things. He's just doing them better. Alright. What is he? I'm assuming rogue. Oh yeah, there we go. Rogue. So he's got basic rogue stuff. Yeah. So he's got Fault Spawn Asura Spawn. Okay, what's that give him? Bonus to Dex and Wisdom, minus to Intelligence. Bonus to Knowledge Arcana, Knowledge World, and they use Hideous Laughter spell once per day. Oh my god, he's literally like just us, but like a little bit better. He even has a god that I can sit. This is like what we could have ended up with. I could have made a rogue which is very similar to this. Alright, well, good to know. Good to know. Both going to be fighting over weapon finesse weapons if we find any. Although, I mean, he does have a dagger, which is quite good. And I just want to see... Yeah, okay, that's a cool picture, the full thing. So yeah, he's very much chaotic neutral. Fair enough. Right. Doesn't have anything else on him, he just has the dagger. Cool. By the way, I said no to this guy because I'm going to try and stick to something. I'm going to say, like, we're going to try and have no commitments. We're going to be somebody who wanders from place to place. He's wanting a direct promise? Absolutely not. And I'm going to try and be a little bit more chaotic. It's not in my nature, but it's in his nature. So that's what we're going to be going with. Anyway, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to end the episode. As it is the first episode of the series, I would just like to say thank you for watching, and I would really appreciate it if you would like, comment, subscribe, all of that sort of stuff, because it helps the channel grow, it helps the series grow, and it's really useful for the search algorithm on the very first video to get a ton of that, because, well, then it goes out to more people and more people watch the series and so on and so forth. I only mention it at the start of the first episode because, well, that's the one that matters most in terms of getting people into something like this. So, thank you for watching, and I will see you tomorrow for the next episode. Thank you for watching, see you next time, goodbye.